So today we're working on the 2006 Hummer H3. And what I'm going to talk about is actually switching from your four-wheel high to four-wheel lock and the four-wheel low lock. So the Hummer's got a reputation where the fork for the transfer case is made out of plastic, and that plastic can crack over time, or actually, like the fork is going to break or go sideways. Um, it is a problem, it is a known problem, but if you got a problem where you cannot switch back or just switching from the 4i to the low lock, it doesn't mean that the fork is the problem. So the first thing I'll do, I'll show you, because I got a problem with mine and it's pretty basic. So let's say I start the Hummer. If I try to put it on 4 high, nothing's happening. If I go in 4 low, there we go. So now I'm in 4 low, but I can't seem to be able to go in 4 high again. So if I press it, now I'm in 4 high. So I'll close that. So at the beginning, why I didn't switch is because I thought I was in neutral, but I was actually in reverse. So what's happening? Usually the biggest problem the Hummer has with that is just the control themselves sometimes doesn't connect. They can be dirty, sometimes they're stuck, and you will have to use a knife or something to pull it back out. Because if one of them is pressed down, let's say you're in the normal high, and you try to go in 4 low, and this one is stuck inward, the ECM will not recognize that. It's going to be completely confused. It cannot input two, how can I say that? Two requests at the same time. So you need to make sure that none of them are stick. And maybe what I'll do, I'll try to do another video where I remove the whole thing and we can actually play with those. But that is something that can happen. So it doesn't mean your fork is actually broken. Maybe it's just the controller or the buttons are actually not recording. The other thing, I don't know if you heard it when I was switching around. So I'll start back the vehicle and listen carefully for the actuator or the transfer case motor to engage, and you will hear that locking sound. So I'll do it again. So listen carefully for the noise of the motor to switch it to 4-wheel low lock. Did you hear that loud knocking? So I don't know if you could hear it, but actually I can hear my actuator or transfer case motor switching. And if you're not sure if it's actually working, if you can get somebody to start the engine, just get under your Hummer, and just beside the transfer case, you see you got a cross there, a cross right here. So in between the two cross, you go to the transfer case, the actuator is right there. So there's a possibility that that actuator is actually failed. So if somebody is sitting in a car, or you're sitting in a car, and you press the button to make it switch, and the actuator is actually burnt, when you press for the full low, it's gonna blink for like maybe a 5 to 10 second and come back to whatever setting you were up on. And there is going to be no noise coming from the actuator itself or the transfer case motor. So that's one way to know if this is broken or not. Worst case scenario, the plug-in is right here. Oops, sorry. So if you follow the wire, you got a connector right here that you can actually unplug and check to see if there is actual power in it. So if this is working, you can hear it work, and the light switch, but you're still in low, even though let's say you're in 4-low lock, but you're driving and it's still on high, but you can hear the actuator working and the light switch, and you're supposed to be in 4-low, but it's not working, that means the fork is the problem. So that is one way to diagnose this and to make sure you're not going straight forward to switch and remove the transfer case to switch that fork, and it wasn't actually the problem. Just make sure those controller on your dash are actually not the faulty one doing that job. So if I'm sitting back in the car, so what I mean, let's say you're in a parking lot and you're making a tight turn and you're on 4 high, and you can hear your wheel, like, not squeaking, but like if it's binding or something like that from the wheel. So that means you're locked. So if you're driving normal, but in the parking lot they're binding, you're stuck in 4 high lock. So that means for a reason or another you're still locked there, but the actuator move you there. So just to make sure, try to move to 4 lock low. If the light actually, you press it and it starts blinking and it comes on, so that means the actuator is working, but you're still in 4 high lock. So that means it's the fork. That's one way really to know if that is the problem. Usually, if the actuator is broken, like I said, let's say you're in 4 high lock, 4 high normal, and you want to be in 4 high lock, and you press it and the light blinks and blinks and it blinks and nothing's happening, no noise coming from under the car, and it switch back there, and you do the same here, that means the actuator under your seat is not working. Well, under your seat, on the transfer case. So that is a quick way to know if that is the problem. Like I said, if you switch it to 4-low lock and the light lights up and you're still in high, there is a big possibility that is your fork that is actually broken. I usually see that in people doing 4x4 or some Hummers that got a bit more driven than others, so high mileage and stuff like that. It can still break even with the low mileage one, but it's more rare for me anyways, to recognize that. So just be aware of that. Just make sure, like I said, the connection is working properly. As you see on mine, this one is faulty. So I really need to play with it until there is a connection. So that means behind it, there is that little spring with that little connection that happened. So for a reason or another, maybe the spring is too loose and whatever is the surface of contact is maybe damaged. So I'll just need to put something in between to just help out to get that connection when I press it. So yeah, some other time I'll try to remove the whole thing and just work on it. But for now, it's just a quick way to explain you guys how to diagnose this. So hope it helps and good luck with your Hummers. All right, see you around.